What's going on, everybody? My name is Shay, and today we're going to be taking a dive into one of my Premiere Pro timelines, and I'm going to explain to you how I edited and some of the techniques that I used in the editing process of my 1000 Swords planner review video. Let's get into it. So as we jump in here, first and foremost, this is just a crazy timeline that we've got going on here. There's so many little things happening, but for those of you who are more familiar with Premiere Pro, this might not be so intimidating for you, but I'm just going to run through some of the basic techniques that I used that made this video a little bit easier to watch, a little bit more appealing, a little bit more exciting, stuff like that. So as an overall look at this video, one of the first things I did was I didn't just start it off with hey, we're going to be unboxing this, it's going to be great. I started it off with a little skit, and that little skit was I'm wasting my life away watching thirst traps on TikTok, and then all of a sudden this planner gets here and life changes. So that's one of the techniques that we kind of used in here. Was I started off with a skit to kind of confuse people, what in the world is going on, what's happening. So that's kind of what I did here with me being on the couch. You can hear a slight tick in the background from a timer. I'll get into all that here. So I'm showing myself on the couch here watching these thirst traps going in here. Then a timer goes off. That's supposed to be food ready. Go in, get the food, whatevs. Then as it's coming up, you'll see a doorbell, or you'll hear a doorbell. I go to the door, open up, we get this pause in there. I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit because we haven't gotten there yet, but you open the door right here, and then you get this pause. And then that pause, you start to hear the outside noises. So people are okay, there's more to this. You walk outside the door, and then voila, you're outside. So I started this thing off with a skit. Let's just get into the sound and visuals of this skit by itself, which ends right about here. Or it actually ends here, but then this is also part of the major intro, which I want to talk about here. So this is what we're doing right now. Up here, it's just the footage, and then we have a basic color grade. So this is what the footage looks like right here, before and after the color grade, just like that. I wanted it to be a little bit brighter, a little bit kind of harder to look at. That's kind of what I was going for here. Then we have our sound design. This is where it gets a little bit fun up in here. So we've got obviously the raw audio clips, which is where you're getting the thirst trap sound effects from, because I recorded all of that from the overhead shoulder cam, which you can hear right up here. So you've got the sound of the thirst traps happening. That is this blue mark right here that is highlighted. Then you have this ticking. That is this right here. That is very subtle and in the background, but it is, I just bumped the mic, but it's there to give purpose. Excuse me. It's there to give purpose to the timer, which goes off right here. Like so. That's why that ticking is there. It's really faint, hard to hear. Then these two tracks are, this one is some ambient noise, and then this one is a music track. So you've got a music track, we've got the little underlying kind of I don't know, scary, it's supposed to be unnerving tones, what's happening here, why is this so bad, I'm trying to give a bad vibe here. So we've got between thirst trap searching, a little bit of an ominous music here, some ambient noise to fill in the gaps of the natural audio, and then ticking to give the timer purpose. Then you'll hear a little click. That's supposed to be the phone turning off. I fought myself on that for a little while, but I figured, throw it in there. Whatever, why not? It's supposed to be a phone turning off just like this. So when the phone goes off right here, see, got that. I'm walking away. Then we have, this is raw audio from when I opened the stove. And this is all one clip taken from one of the 3 takes that I did, where I used a couple of different camera angles and just lined everything up really nice. And then I used a doorbell, which was stock here, or not stock, I'm sorry, that was canned right here. So you got the doorbell that comes in right here. Boom, we got a doorbell. And then the whoosh as they open the door to be what's about to happen, and then you get blinded, and then, that whole thing. Then the outdoor sound kind of comes in just to, like really early, just to let people know that like there's something still happening, right? So that's why it comes in so early. You get that whoosh, whoosh, bird noises and like outdoor noises right away. Then you've got these right here, where I walk out and I look down and I see the planner itself. That's where I pick that up. And then you've got the introductory level up my game, and then the 1000 Swords there in the background. That took a while to key out. I actually have a mask on that, and I masked it to fit, you know, behind my feet and stuff like that. And as I went along, that's how I masked it so it stayed behind. And then boom, it came out in front just like that. So we've got that right there. It stays behind, and boom, it's in front. It is the main focus. Clip. There we go.
Oh my god.
Now we go into real world time, which is where I'm talking about the actual review of the product, and this is the intro, and then the rest is history.
Oh my god. I've been waiting for this day for so long. Today, we are going to be unboxing the 1000 Swords Entrepreneur Planner. Let's get into it.
Now, to make this how exactly the way I wanted, I actually had to loop this track twice because I wanted there to be an underlying like soundtrack beneath this bit right here, which is where I was talking, but it wasn't entirely possible with this exact track. So what I just did was I looped it in a perfect loop here twice, and then went into the second bridge afterwards.
Today, we are going to be unboxing
Loop,
the 1000
right there.
Swords.
All I did was use a constant power so it keeps the sound levels the same while merging the two for a nice clean transition between audio tracks. Super easy. This first one is at the lowest volume. This one's a little bit higher. And then this one speed ramps up right at the end, like so. Right over here, you actually see it under here.
Let's get into it.
That is our intro for this video right there. I'm just basically saying whatever, you know, like, hey, I do a bunch of videos like this. And then right here, become unstoppable, hashtag level up my game. That is actually the packaging for 1000 Swords. See it right here. I've got the 1000 Swords. It's actually the level up, become unstoppable, and it's got the level up my game stuff here. That is what that is, and that's why I have it there. And then I took the end of this track, because this is only the beginning of this song. I actually took the end of the track and looped it in right here, and that's how you get that perfect ending. Just like so. Easy peasy lemon motherfucking steezy. And now we move on to the actual review video. Here's how I made this a little bit more appealing and easy to watch.
For those of you that don't know, 1000 Swords.
So you go right in here, and the first thing you see is me talking, giving a little bit of backstory to the actual product. You see a little bit of backstory to the actual product, but the way I made this a little bit more interesting is because if you just sit there and you sit and watch, what I do is when I go to a YouTube video and all I see is somebody sitting there and talking for 5, 10, 15 minutes, just talking. There's no clips, there's nothing over, like, it just bugs me, and I'm like, I don't want to sit there and watch this guy for 15 minutes. I want something else stimulating and interesting. So what I did was, to make this interesting for the first few minutes, or for the first minute or two, I added some slow-mo B-roll that I got of the product before I filmed, and then after I filmed of of it in the packaging, oh my lord, in the packaging, and then some with it outside of the packaging. So I'll explain that here now. I start explaining the product and the backstory. Boom, you got some slow-mo.
Some of you might know him from his TikTok series, Tools for Entrepreneurs.
Yeah, that's it. It's really just a slow-mo right here.
Or, of course, the Entrepreneur's Planner. And today, I finally received mine. I ordered it so long ago, but because it was still in production, I had to wait for it to...
I also added that little like button right there so that, you know, whatever, people can remember to like the video, like you're gonna go like this one right now. Anyway, the next thing that I did to make this a little bit more easy to watch is I added music in the background. That always makes things easier to watch for people because people like to listen while they listen and while they watch. It's kind of weird, but you throw music in the background just as something to listen to, something a little bit upbeat, keeps them excited. You don't want to have it too loud to the point where it's hard to hear their voice over it. You don't want it to be equal, but I do it a little bit lower so that it's there. It's not non-existent, but it's there.
You know, be produced and then sent over, and I finally have it, and I'm so excited. This tool, as advertised, allegedly is able to make you 10...
Now, here's another technique that I used while editing this, which is a big difference, and it's something a lot of people talk about. It's a J-cut. When you come into this area right here, you obviously have these audio, but you'll notice that the cuts in the audio and the cuts in the video are slightly off by a couple frames right in here. What that basically does is it allows the storyline to be a little bit more coherent. So if I didn't have this slow-mo footage, what you would see is the speech talking before the video starts, and that keeps it all as one thought rather than cutting it and having to... it's almost like a gear reset. When somebody does that, it's almost like a gear reset where if you have this J-cut, the speech starts before you actually end the visual adventure, so it kind of just continues on as one piece. I'll demonstrate right here.
Have it, and I'm so excited. This tool, as advertised, allegedly is able to...
It's so subtle, but it can very quickly and very easily make or break whatever project you're working on. So right in here, I'll like to show it again.
Using it. But for now, let's just get it out of the freaking box.
See?
Packaging,
there we go,
amazing.
just like that. And I do that throughout the entire video. Every single one of these is offset just a little bit to make things a little bit easier to watch, like in this one right here.
Let's see what's inside. I actually have no
just like
idea
that.
what's inside.
It's super, super easy, super, super simple. I mean, just take that extra few minutes and just do it. I mean, it's made my videos so much better, and it's... Anyway, so... I'm just going to come right in here and show you some of the slow-mo stuff. Oh, another thing, color grading. Always color grade your footage. Always. Because I turned it in from that being the raw footage to...
Some of you might know him from his TikTok series, Tools for Entrepreneurs, his $0 to $1 million...
Let me... Hold on. I'm going to go back. I'm going to do that again. So you got that is the raw footage, and you got that is the color graded footage. I mean, come on. I mean, you have... Like, watch. You have... Let's make this a little bit bigger so you can actually see it a little bit better. And then boom, that's non-color graded.
A $1 million trip.
That's color graded.
Of course.
You must color grade your footage because it can make an entire image look so much better. It's like editing a picture or putting a filter on a picture. You want it to look nicer. The colors look better. Everything looks nicer together when it is color graded effectively.
So long ago.
Do it. So far, I've talked about using a little opening like skit sequence to make the product a little bit more interesting. That was just kind of one of the things that you don't have to do. It's just kind of what I did for this particular video. It's just something you can do if you have the time and energy and want to do something like that. Make your YouTube videos a little bit more interesting overall. And then the sound design, you know, adding all of these sounds in, taking the time to properly align them and add the proper sounds in to make sure that your storyline all makes sense together as one cohesive thought and nothing seems super out of place. And then an intro to the video. It can be as short or as long as you want, depending on how engaging you think your intro is and how engaged your audience will be with it, because those are two very different things. Then you have the actual video. Throw some B-roll footage on top of it. B-roll footage that makes sense and actually goes with the video theme or the product or thing or vlog or whatever you're doing. Put some of that B-roll footage up there. Make it make sense. It will help a lot, and people will be a lot more enticed to keep watching. Then you have the J-cuts, meaning that your entire video stays as one cohesive thought instead of kind of jarring them in and out of a trans when you've got a long video clip going and then cut. You know, it's the next. It's harsh. Then color grading. Always color grade your footage. Always, 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 always. I'm still learning. I'm not great at it, but it makes one hell of a difference. It really freaking does. Then only other thing, in the background music there, I actually use different tracks. So instead of just looping the same track like a lot of people do over and over and over again, I like to use different music because it tells the person that they are progressing through time through that video. And for some reason that feels better to me. I don't know why, it just kind of does. And then at the end you have an outro. You basically want to have a call to action, whether it's commenting, liking, subscribing, going and signing up for an emailing list, going and taking a survey, whatever your call to action is, you want to call them to it, right in here. Let's take a look at this. So let's take a look at my call to action right in here. I've got a couple B-roll clips of the planer itself.
I hope that this video gave you a little bit of value and showed you exactly what you're getting in.
So I tell people, like, I'm hoping that I was able to give them value, because my number one priority here is not for them to subscribe to me and for me to make money. It's not that at all. It is for me to provide value to the audience, to the world as a whole, and then the return on that will be the subscribers, will be the income later on in the long term. The short term is as long as I'm providing value to a viewer. That is my ultimate goal.
Come on, you watched it come out of the box.
Funny quit.
With that being said, I hope this video provided you some value.
Showing the final product like that.
Subscribing and following on all the
Those are my call to action.
You can find down in the description box below. And until next time, keep crushing your goals, pick up a planner, work on your business, work on your life, get it together. And I'll see you in the next.
Before you see the end screen, here's another thing that I forgot to mention. Here's what I did. I have very specific music chosen out for the end screen, and in order to get to that, I didn't want to start it all the way back here and then have it come in. I wanted it to be right at the end so you knew it was the end of the video, and that's when I did an exponential fade at the end of this one music track, which has been playing in the background for a while,
next time,
like that. And then I actually came in with a keyframed volume ramp right in here with the keyframes, bringing it up and up and up and up and up,
get it together,
further and further up.
I'll see you in the next
and then
video.
It goes all the way up. It goes all the way up at the drop, and then people can watch all this if they want to. And then same thing with the intro track. This track is like the first or the second drop in the track, and then the end of it, I brought the end to here and then basically put it together so that it cuts out in a nice rhythm, like so. It works out well. It works out nice. Creates one nice long frickin' video to edit, but it is a great video that I think people will enjoy watching. It is like 13 minutes, but it's okay, because 13 minutes means I can make a hell of a lot of TikTok videos out of it and get some clout on TikTok, which is great. Not that I'm in it for the clout. Kind of, low-key, not really. Anyway, I'm gonna go. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, if I provided you any value at all, please consider subscribing, liking, and possibly even sharing this video with somebody who needs to see it, who needs to up their editing game in their game. I don't know where I was going with that. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.